17-year-old Carmen Robinson was last seen around 10 p.m. on December 8, 1973, after finishing her dishwashing shift at the Ingram Hotel. She was stepping off a bus at West Burnside and Holland Avenue in Victoria, BC. The bus stop was only 2 blocks from her home. In the years following, during the investigation, only a handful of leads came in, including a bumper sticker on a car and claims from serial killer Clifford Olson. But 51 years later, there still has been nothing tangible for police to work with to solve Carmen's case. If she were alive today, Carmen would be 68 years old. It had been confirmed that the last person to see Carmen the night of December 8th was the bus driver. At that time, the area where he dropped Carmen off was rural. RCMP investigator Wendell Milne stated that it was kind of a remote area. In my recollection, there wasn't really any house in eyeshot of that bus stop she got off at. And if there was someone driving by at the time, nobody came forward. So you really had no one to give you that first clue. The police spoke with family and friends and searched local databases for sexual assaults, ex-offenders in the area. They surveilled where she vanished and scoured ditches and fields, and nothing of any value ever surfaced. Milne said it was like she stepped off the bus into the abyss. All of Carmen's friends, family, and acquaintances told the police that she was hardworking and she didn't party. It was completely out of character for her to have gone off somewhere on her own, he said. Retired RCMP officer Bruce Brown had this to say about Carmen's case. View Royal was a relatively small town back in these days, in the early 70s, so it was classified at the time as a missing persons case. There were a lot of people who knew Carmen because she was a regular in the community. There was no physical evidence. No one witnessed anything, but as time went on, I think everyone involved in the case realized that it was likely a murder case. The only real lead that came in was from a friend who had seen Carmen arguing with a man a few days before she went missing. That friend was put under hypnosis to help police create a composite sketch. She recalled the person's face and a vehicle he drove, which was a 1973 Dodge or Plymouth Duster, or a Nova. The color was burnt orange. She recalled another detail, a bumper sticker with the name Ferguson on it, and it was traced to a person who ran for school trustee in Kamloops that year. But as a side note, could the bumper sticker been from an auto dealership? There was a Ferguson dealership in Delta, BC. But I digress. He went on to say, so that, combined with a number of other missing young women from the Kamloops area, gave some hope that perhaps this vehicle may somehow be linked to Carmen's disappearance. The man was described as having dark hair and a big bushy beard. No one interviewed could be linked to the area at that time. Officer Brown said that some of the investigators' wives would ride the bus route, with police following to see if they could identify anyone of interest. Clifford Olson, who was in Victoria in the early to mid-70s, was arrested in James Bay for some break-ins, and would later claim to know where Carmen's body was buried. Olson was flown to Victoria and took police to the Fort Rod Hill area, but the areas he pointed out were unproductive in producing any clues. Inspector Brown believed that Olson, who was serving a life sentence at that time for abducting and raping the murder of 8 girls and 3 boys in BC from 1980 to 1981. He may have been lying in order to get a free trip out of prison. Olson died in 2011. Investigators believe a house at 380 Lavender Road may be related somehow, but have no suspects, no leads, and no information. Detectives also believe that she was taken by someone who observed her, routine, or then again it could have been a random attack. They do believe that someone out there holds the key to unlocking this case. Carmen's disappearance is still an ongoing investigation. Carmen Robinson lived on Helmicken Road with her mother and 13-year-old sister. At the time, it was a rural area, and Carmen often carried a flashlight for the dark walk home from the bus stop. At the bottom of the driveway, she would twist the flashlight in her hand to signal she was home, her sister Debbie told the Daily Colonist at the time. Carmen's mother described her as a happy-go-lucky girl who liked baking, reading mysteries, and listening to music. Carmen Robinson was born in 1956. She was 5 feet tall and weighed approximately 100 pounds. She is a Caucasian female with blonde hair. Anyone with any information is urged to please contact the West Shore RCMP at 250-474-2264. Detectives believe that Carmen's case can most definitely still be solved this day.